Well, when we recorded the What Do We Do podcast just last week, we were on the precipice of finding out exactly who our next president would ultimately be. We were encouraging people to go out and vote. And now here we are about a week later, and I feel like about a million things have changed since that time, Dewey. Good to be with you again.
Kyle, great to see you. Hello out there, podcast world. Dewey Stephan here, episode 24 of the What Do We Do podcast. And I'm telling you, today is really a day of what do we do? Yes, last Tuesday was election day in America, and Saturday, after 4 or 5 days of unknown results, we did have a President-elect declared by the Associated Press on Saturday. And so here we are a week later, and the train is moving down the track.
So there's a lot of different steps and several different levels that I think we can kind of take this conversation this week in various directions. Okay, obviously the president-elect is out there. We'll wait to see how easily that ends up happening and what the transition period will ultimately look like. Monday morning, we got some very exciting news, not just in the United States, but I think worldwide, and that's something we'll certainly dive into as well. But, dude, I want to go back before we go forward because, again, there's so many different areas here that we can have a conversation on. So last week, we talked about some uncertainty. We talked about the election in 2000, and it took, 38 days before the president was ultimately announced, right? So we had a couple of days there where we didn't know who the president-elect was going to be. Votes were still coming in. Things were still being counted. So I guess Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what did you see last week? What was your world like here at Great Lakes Wealth and just looking at the market?
So, Bogey, it has been a roller coaster of a week. Fantastic, but crazy at the same time, right? We call it controlled chaos around here, okay? So the election was Tuesday. Wednesday morning, did not have the results in. The Dow rallied Wednesday around 500 points, right? Again, Thursday, the results aren't in. Market rallies again around another 500 points on Thursday. And then Friday, going into the weekend of, oh my gosh, Joe Biden is on the cusp of a victory. Trump is already talking about litigating against the states and the ballots. And so the market kind of took a pause and dropped a little bit on Friday, again, heading into the weekend. And Wall Street loves certainty. Wall Street does not like uncertainty, right? And so there was uncertainty heading into the weekend. Well, guess what? Monday morning, COVID-19, we may have a vaccine. It may be fantastic for all of mankind. This is not something that's just subtly to be talked about. But prior to that, Saturday, November 7th, right, it was announced by the Associated Press that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would be the next president and vice president-elect of the United States heading into the inauguration day on January 20th. So we had futures that were up Sunday evening, 300 or 400 points, just based upon the fact of the certainty of the president.
Knowing what to expect a little bit.
Knowing what to expect from the elections, okay? And then, boom, we all wake up Monday morning, and Pfizer has announced that they have a vaccine that may have 90% efficacy, if not more, and this could change the game. And boom, here we are with a new level of excitement in the markets.
A lot going on there, and certainly there's going to be a lot of ramifications for that positive news that we have. Again, Pfizer, says that there is a vaccine that has been 90% effective, which is certainly huge news. But let me just let you inside the building here, okay? Inside the walls at Great Lakes Wealth, all right? I was perusing social media on Sunday night, and I'm watching the NFL, and we had just done my daughter's first photo shoot. Can't wait. I'm going to send you a photo.
I saw that on Facebook on the way back.
Absolutely.
That's adorable.
It's just beautiful. We have a Christmas photo. You might get a card in the mail. Be on the lookout for it. But I was on social media Sunday night, and I see Dewey Stephan post a photo, and it's of him in his office grinding away going, you know what? It's Sunday night, but I'm ready to get a head start here at Great Lakes Wealth. So prior to Monday morning's news, why were you here? Outside of being a hardworking person, what were you preparing for, I suppose, as this week was getting ready to start?
So when the facts change, we change our plan here at Great Lakes Wealth, right? So I will also say that one of our advisors, Joe Wilkinson, he joined me in here on Sunday. So we just had to kind of roll up our sleeves and kind of get to work, okay? So because the president-elect was announced and because that may change the landscape for the next 4 years, we wanted to make sure that we were just kind of preparing for the week ahead. Now, you can do it from home. We have laptops and we have trading stations.
Something different about being in the office.
So again, you need to still, again, for now, you need to socially distance and you need to take care of the responsibilities you have from a safety perspective, right? But at the same time, collaboration. So yes, we did have the team in here yesterday, just trying to make sure that we really got a great start on the week. And that had nothing to do, again, with what we found out Monday morning with COVID and the excitement revolving that. But as it relates to the affairs in Washington, D.C., that on itself is a game changer, and we call it rotate and rebalance. Okay, so with that, we can kind of walk through what we think may happen, but there's some steps between now and January 20th. Kyle, do you know what happens on January 20th?
I believe Joe Biden will be officially made the next president, the 46th president of the United States. That's how it's supposed to go, obviously.
It's supposed to go. So that is inauguration date for whoever the Electoral College elects as the president, and then Congress has to meet and certify the Electoral College votes, right? So, yes, I'm going to walk you through. Joe Biden, the 77-year-old Democrat, was elected President of the United States, according to the Associated Press, on Saturday, November 7th, along with Kamala Harris, and she will be the first woman, first Black, and first South Asian Vice President of the United States of America. This is a big deal. Groundbreaking, right? So the dates that are coming up are December 8th. The state election results must be certified, and all conflicts related to the final vote count must be resolved by this date, per federal statute. Big date to know, okay? And then December 14th, the Electoral College electors cast their votes for president on this date, okay? And then January 6th, Congress meets and certifies the Electoral College votes prior to, blow the trumpets, dun, 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 the President of the United States being sworn in on January 20th on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Pretty exciting stuff.
It is. I mean, we really do have, I think, a lot to look forward to over the next several months. So, again, there's multiple facets here. I want to at least jump back over to the COVID-19 side of things as it pertains to the vaccine and the news that came out Monday morning. So I guess on your end, what time did you see that news? What were your immediate thoughts? What was the conversation like? And I certainly know that you're prepared for anything and, you're ready to go and you have your team, eager to make sure that you're taking care of your clients. But that had to be one of those, wow, this is going to be, talking about Monday when it came out, a big day here in the U.S. and for the world, and then, of course, the market.
Well, for the world, right? And we talked about this, I don't know, back in September, 2+ months ago with one of our podcasts. You had asked what's going on with the markets. They seem to be drifting lower. There's some uncertainty coming in. How do we play this week or next week? And I said, Kyle, with what we see, we have a base case. But you throw a cure for COVID-19 in tomorrow, and you will see this market rally 1,000 or 2,000 points quicker than I can snap my fingers, or Sully can get out of the control room into here to tell us. Do you follow me?
Of course.
So that is what we saw happen. Sunday evening, the futures were up 200 or 300 points. Again, getting ready for some certainty about Washington, D.C. But then Monday morning, I got up around 6:30, if you must know. Went downstairs, grabbed my cup of Joe, turned on the TV, boom, and there I go. I see futures up 1,200 points. I'm like, all right, here we go, and start running around a little bit faster speed than normal, trying to take notice and start the research, if you will. So that just takes some of the worry on all of the sectors of investing, if you will. COVID-19, affects everyone, right? So that's a whole other story to talk about and what that means for different areas to invest, opportunities. But we can talk about the landscape changed instantly because of this announcement. And we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when, where, why, or how. And now we have some of that info, right? So real quick, back to the election. However, there still is some unsettled business. Do you happen to know what I'm talking about, Kyle?
Lawsuits being filed. The current president, Donald Trump, hasn't officially conceded. Many, top Republican officials haven't conceded that Joe Biden is in fact going to be the president-elect. Yeah, there's a lot.
So
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot, and that's all with the executive branch, as you said, right? The president and the White House. But guess what? There's also Congress. Senate is tied at 48-48 right now, with I think 4 that are contested, and 2 of those are in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. And so, with the information that's going on there, the Senate and the House, Republican or Democrat, are either going to become all Democrat, which would be the blue wave, or the Senate may be retained by the Republicans in majority, and the House may be retained by the Democrats in majority, and that would do some additional checks and balances, right? So Wall Street does now believe that the Senate will be retained by the Republicans, although they may lose 1 or 2 seats, and that the House may be retained by the Democrats, although they're going to lose several seats as well. However, there is a possibility that the Democrats can sweep the Senate and take majority there. And if they do with those votes, then you will have a Washington status that will be more, pro the Biden-Harris agenda.
So we've talked about this on prior episodes, and certainly you can go to Great Lakes Wealth on social media. You can go to the What Do We Do podcast on social media, and you can go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast, and download episode 16 of the What Do We Do podcast for the more in-depth look at what happens if Joe Biden, ultimately wins the election and becomes the president. But in the immediacy, just focusing on that, making sure we're monitoring what goes on in the Senate, and you detailed it nicely. I guess, are there certain things that you are looking at here over the next couple of weeks? Do we need to really wait until that key date of December 8th? Do we need to wait till that key date of January 20th? I guess where is your head at, and as far as what we're going to see here moving forward?
Kyle, today's Tuesday. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
How many days are left in this week? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. How many is that?
Too many days.
How many is that?
Too many.
That's 4 days.
I'm ready
okay?
for the weekend already.
That's 4 days just for the rest of this week. So here at Great Lakes Wealth, we've now determined that we're going to just watch the next 4 days to put a plan together over the next 4 weeks to then have strategies.
That gets us to about the 8th of December.
Okay.
Okay.
And that will take us to a strategy or strategies to invest successfully for the next 4 years. Okay, so you have to look short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Okay, headlines move the markets on a daily basis, as you know, but earnings is what rules the day or moves the markets over a long period of time. And so whether it's some stimulus from Congress to help the COVID effects that still linger, whether it's the Federal Reserve being accommodative, whether it is on the other side, the Biden presidency wanting to raise taxes, either corporate taxes or those on the highest earners in America on the private side. So there's a lot that's still left to be determined. So we are going to just be paying attention over the next 4 days and building plans over the next 4 weeks to set up for the next 4 years.
Love it. Now, this is funny because I'm just going to ask you this, and I mean this in total and complete sincerity.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Sully, are you ready in there?
No. There is so much going on. There's so many different ways to look at what the market could be doing, ebbs and flows, things going up and down. On a daily basis, how do you even go about planning? Because while we got great news Monday about the vaccine, and that could certainly help COVID-19, and we could start making sure that the frontline workers are being taken care of. Then we get into the elderly. Then we get into the people who potentially have those underlying conditions that we need to make sure are having the vaccine. But you have that. You have a presidency that, while it's decided, quote unquote, according to media outlets, it's not exactly decided because the current president hasn't conceded. So there's all this positive, and then there's all this other stuff going on. and we've talked about volatility, we've talked about the market loves certainty, there's still a ton of uncertainty out there. So I guess it's got to be experience, but how do you go about weathering the storm? And I just used a lot of words there. I'm sorry, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I'm confused. I need a timeout. This is crazy.
Get him some water. You need a towel.
Timeout.
Right.
I need to consult with my team and figure this out. Kyle, I'm kidding. So there's a lot of things, right? There's what we call the macro view, which is the global view from around the world. You have U.S. investing. You have international investing. You have large cap investing. You have small cap investing. You have fixed income investing, which would be bonds, versus equity investing. You also have these things called real estate, right? So you have the real estate investing. You have gold and precious metals. You have sectors. We have 11 sectors just in the S&P, as you're familiar. So there are so many things on the macro level, and a lot of them will be determined, again, by policy. And so we can see, and we talked about this when we started back in June, we started with podcast number 1. We, at that point, were trying to figure out what was going to happen as COVID was just, ravaging sectors of the economy, if you will, right? And so now it's the other side. We're seeing which ones have been able to pivot. We haven't used that word in a while, but pivot. That's the word for 2020, right? Well, guess what? Going into 2021, we're going to have to pivot again, okay? And this is exciting. We call it rotate and rebalance. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots, the winners and the losers, and they are different today on Tuesday than they were last Friday based upon the information and the potential vaccine with 90% efficacy from Pfizer and the other companies that are now going to be coming very rapidly behind with their own version of the vaccine.
Okay, so I don't know anything about anything, okay? I'm going off of what, I've learned doing the What Do We Do podcast here, okay? Now, 24 episodes actually into this. So I'm looking at this going, okay, a potential vaccine means what? And I got a text from a friend Monday morning as soon as the word came out, and he was like, we're going on vacation. That's right. Start booking your trips. Okay, so clearly hotels are going to be very happy about this potentially if the vaccine really is going to work and does come out sooner than later. The airline industry, I believe United was up a pretty healthy amount on Monday when this news came out. Going to be very happy about that, right? The other side, that's more the winning side, or at least a couple. The loser side, Netflix, maybe, companies that require people being at home. Am I onto something here that the companies that need people to be at home on their electronics maybe hurt a little bit? Companies that require people getting out of their homes and going places going to be helped. Hey guys, it's Bogey. I want to take a second to talk to you about Dewey Steffen and his excellent team at Great Lakes Wealth. Look, do you feel overwhelmed with managing your assets in today's financial world? I mean, think about the times that we're in here in 2020. Do you want financial freedom? Great Lakes Wealth offers Wall Street solutions with Main Street values. They sit down with you to develop custom financial solutions utilizing all of your assets, even your 401k. We build the future you want based on your goals and your dreams. That is what Great Lakes Wealth is all about. Thinking about you, thinking about your family, and thinking about your future. Simply go to greatlakeswealth.us to schedule an appointment today. They offer better investments, better service, and a fee-back guarantee, okay? A fee-back guarantee. Your road to financial freedom starts at greatlakeswealth.us. Please visit greatlakeswealth.us or simply give Great Lakes Wealth a call today.
Fantastic. So we call that the stay-at-home economy versus the get-out-and-go economy, right? And so for sure, you're right on. And those are themes. But are those short-lived themes? If people can get on a plane and fly on vacation like your friend, is that enough? Is he going to fly enough with his family around the world to get the revenues of United to where they were pre-pandemic, right? And is Netflix going to lose enough subscribers or enough watching time to suppress their stock because it's no longer the investment it was, 3 days ago or 3 months ago? So these are the very important concepts. And for sure, it all comes down to revenues and the economic opportunities of companies, right? And then you have U.S. versus foreign with Biden being president. So we're jumping around between COVID and what's happening
There's
in
a
Washington.
ton out there. It's okay.
It's fantastic. We didn't even touch on cannabis yet, right? As soon as it was announced that the Democrats were in control of the White House, then cannabis stocks have started to soar because they believe that that's the easiest route to legalization federally of the cannabis industry and the cannabis stock, or I should say the cannabis industry and cannabis, right? So that is moving in one direction. Cryptocurrencies, we talked about those in an episode not too long ago. Those, the cryptos have moved. Bitcoin went from 1,100 an ounce 2 weeks ago up to 15 an ounce. Bitcoin went from 1,100 to 1,500, right? That's a 35% move in weeks. Gold went from 1,900 an ounce up to 2,000 an ounce. And yesterday with the market, the Dow going up 1,200 some odd points, gold was actually down. And to your point, Kyle, the NASDAQ, those stay-at-home stocks, they were actually pretty much flat on the day. And some stocks like Amazon, Netflix, which you mentioned, they were actually negative yesterday. But they're still some of the biggest winners of the year.
Are there any other, that you're going to be looking at here and focusing on, whether it's winners, losers, things to monitor, as it pertains to either side, whether it's COVID-19 and the potential for a vaccine being out sooner than later, or, election related as we watch some of the volatility and things kind of start to sort themselves out? What are going to be some of the things top of mind for you that you want to be keeping track of on a day-to-day basis?
So great question again, right? And it's very complicated, and it just got a lot more complicated with the COVID vaccine coming through right here at the same time that there is policy changes coming down in D.C., right? Potentially. So all that to say that, yes, everything is on the table. Everything is on the table, and it's fantastic. This is if you do your work and have an understanding of what it is you're trying to accomplish. This is, as I've said before, now that we know who the president is going to be, asterisk, most likely, right? This is the investing opportunity of a generation, and that is back on deck from back in March, because you have 11 sectors of the S&P, whether that be energy, which is down 40% on the year, the sector is, right, versus financials down 25 or 30% on the year to this point, not counting Monday's rally. You have utilities that are down, and that's just 3, and tech is up, and healthcare is sideways, right? So there's 11 sectors. Real estate, you have home builders that are crushing it, yet the commercial space is a little more challenged.
Getting gutted,
this is just inside the sectors of the S&P. Now we go globally and actually take a step above that, not just with stocks, with bonds, right? The Federal Reserve has said they're going to keep interest rates close to zero until 2023. So we have 2 years of runway to know that rates are going to stay low. So what does that mean? We can borrow more and use leverage, and does that bode well for real estate? It certainly means money in the bank is going to pay zero for 2 years. So let's go find whether it's corporate bonds. I think there's going to be some haves and have-nots. And if you want, Kyle, I'll run through kind of the basics that we're starting with our list. It's kind of like holiday shopping, right? Get your list.
Oh, I love that.
One at a time. You know what I'm saying? So with
do you
that,
still do your shopping in person, or are you more of an online shopper now?
Listen, I could be here for a whole episode about how I do my shopping because it is so messed up. But I've always just gone around and hit the stores, Macy's, walk the mall.
Grab a coffee and just make it happen.
Kind of go, right?
Wow.
But maybe a year or two ago, I got introduced to this thing called Amazon Prime. Okay, so with Amazon Prime, free shipping, and they have my credit card on file. Are you kidding? I just hit boom, boom, and it's on its way. Boom, boom, and it's on its way. I still haven't figured out how to return anything, so I know that you could go to Kohl's or some places, I think, but I haven't got that far. So I got a lot of stuff that's...
I don't really handle that part either.
Yeah, I go boom, boom, buy, and then if I, have you heard of this regift? If it doesn't work for me, I just keep it in the box and I re-gift it. So if I send
nice.
you... Yeah, so when you send me that holiday card of your new baby girl, if I send you a bunch of gifts, know that they're from the heart, or at least they're from my Amazon pile in the mudroom of the house.
I'll know that you just didn't need it, and that's why you're giving it to me. I appreciate that. Well,
yeah,
please, go ahead.
So in general sense, again, we're going to be doing a lot more work, and we encourage all of you listeners out there to talk to your financial professional. This is very important. You can't just start going on your phone and hitting Robinhood, and just like you were doing 2 or 3 months ago, buying this stock, selling this stock. You need to have a plan, because there are going to be fortunes made, and it's not going to just be because of the headlines that you saw yesterday or that you'll see tomorrow. So with that, in the stock world, we're looking at, in the U.S., large caps, okay? And there are going to be sectors that we're going to stay away from, and there's going to be sectors that we're going to get into, and I'm going to save that for another episode, okay? Number 2, international investing. If Biden and his team are in the White House, and if for some reason they control the Senate and the House, that's not what we think is going to happen. But either way, it's understood they're going to have a more favorable policy with specifically China and other emerging markets, as well as on the global stage, right? So international, we're now looking at emerging markets again because of a weakening dollar and, again, other, factors that would play into it. So emerging markets really should be on people's radar, and we can talk about that on another episode. In the bonds, fixed income. Again, as you know, Kyle, investing is basically stocks, bonds, cash, and then we throw a little real estate in there, and we can call that alternatives. But with that, we just talked stocks. Bonds could be treasury bonds, right? Could be other types of bonds, but we're going with high-grade corporate bonds, and even now, for the first time in a while, looking at tax-free municipal bonds, because, again, the phrase tax-free tells you what, Kyle?
Tax-free.
Tax-free, no taxes.
Meaning, yeah, you just
pay. You get the interest. You don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Right, and so if
that's what everyone should want.
That's what everyone should want. Except as we talked about in that cash and cash alternative episode, the rate is usually lower, but the tax equivalent yield makes it more beneficial if you're in a high tax bracket. And if either corporate taxes are going to go up or taxes for the highest earners in America are going to go up, we definitely see supply and demand. Tells us that there'll be more demand for tax-free munis. Hence, their prices will go up. Hence, it becomes a better investment. So we will be looking to see if that analysis will follow through. But high-grade corporates and tax-free municipal bonds are the two areas that we're looking at amongst the others, at first blush, okay? And then you have the cash. We talked about stocks, bonds, and cash. Well, if it's cash, it's not paying any interest. So we think that we go to what you and I have talked about tons of times, Kyle, which is 3 to 6 months of cash for emergencies. This was pre-COVID or post-COVID for the next COVID, right? Well, guess what? We think that's exactly where you need to be, 3 to 6 months of cash. But maybe now you put it in the 6-month category of cash. And maybe you ask me why. Why, right? If we think there's a lot of investments, you would only go 3 months of cash. Put that other 3 months to work. Let's make some money, baby, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we also think there'll be volatility. And so the market's up 1,000 one day. It's going to go down 1,000 in the next week or two one day, I would imagine. So because there'll be volatility as everyone's trying to figure it out, you got to have this stuff called dry powder. You have to have some cash on the sidelines and either sell to buy something else or just have some cash raised, ready to go. So we think for now, have 6 months of cash, but ready to deploy maybe 3 months of it when we have the opportunity. Does that make some sense?
Of course.
Fantastic, yeah. Right? And then instead of sitting in the cash in the bank earning zero, go find some competitive money markets. Go find some alternatives, some cash equivalents, as you know, that pay some interest, because money in the bank in the checking account paying zero interest isn't doing you any good. And you need to maximize everywhere you can. Follow me?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the last one, this is the best one. This is the one that's going to have me working 80-hour, 90-hour, 100-hour weeks. And I know that you say that's only through Wednesday for me, Dewey. But I'm telling you, I'm so fired up for the next 6 to 8 weeks because the category of alternatives, stocks, bonds, cash, alternatives, we have 5 that I think could just make it happen. Okay, and this would be gold and precious metals. This would also be private equity investments. We haven't really touched on that much, but private equity investments. We also believe parts of real estate. We also believe cannabis. We also believe cryptocurrencies. So we have to figure out what part of a portfolio of these should play, if any. They're non-correlated to stocks and bonds. They're going to be opportunities. There also is going to be some cash flow. They may be hedges. They also just might be strong investments. So we're going to look at that as a playbook, and we're going to kind of get into it.
Well, obviously that's a lot of information there, man.
I need to take a breath. I'm sorry.
I feel like you right now when I go on, a long spiel, and by the time I get to the end of it, I don't even know what question to ask. But no, in all seriousness, that's it's fascinating stuff. And again, I think you emphasized it from the beginning. Make sure you are reaching out to your financial advisor. Make sure you are going potentially to GreatLakesWealth.us if you want some more information. But most of all, let's hope that the volatility goes down. Let's hope that the transition from one president to another and whatever ends up happening with the Senate goes as smoothly as possible. And I think I speak for the entire world when I say let's hope that this vaccine comes quickly, and let's hope that it's effective, because that would be the ultimate game changer, I think, in really resuming things and getting the economy back to normal.
Amen, right? We have so many businesses that have not been able to survive. Some of the other things that we're looking at is Congress to provide another round of stimulus. And is that going to be during the current president's administration, or will it be after January 20th? And a lot of that is important as we enter the holidays, but just in general, right? So there is a lot of things still undecided that are going to make a difference for not only companies, but for the citizens of this great country as we head into the holidays and into the first of the year. And with that, I would also like to talk about something that we're doing right here at Great Lakes Wealth from now until the end of the year. We believe in community, as you know, and no more important time than now as we enter Thanksgiving and the Christmas season to really understand that with the stock market, and today the stock market, the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ are all at all-time highs. It's insane. So with that, we truly have investors that might be the haves and those that are subject to the unemployment situation of this year that are struggling. So we're encouraging any of our current clients to add to their accounts if they can and take advantage of what's happening. Any clients that add $50,000 or more to their accounts here, we're going to take half of our 2021 fee, half of next year's fee, and we're going to give it to charity. Right? And any new clients that come on board between now and the end of the year, we're going to take half of all of our fee for next year and give it to charity. We really believe it's important to give back, and we're going to do that with our current clients and any new clients that come on board.
Oh, it's huge.
So,
I mean, I see you out all the time, in the community, whether it's just getting some carry out on a random, Friday or Saturday night, going to a restaurant, potentially down the road from here, wherever it is, you're obviously bouncing around and trying to make sure we support. And I think that's going to be huge, especially for one particular industry here moving forward as we go into the winter, the restaurant industry. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. I hope we don't have to deal with, another shutdown or anything like that of dine-in, and, that takes a healthy bite out of drinks and, a budget potentially that can go way down. So make sure if that happens, you're ordering carry out, you're doing as much as you can to just support, and that helps everyone. It helps the economy. It helps the community. Everybody
needs to be a partner in their community, right? What do they say? Many hands make light work, right? And so with that, the 4 charities that we've chosen to partner with for our clients that deposit and invest between now and the end of the year is the American House Foundation, which focuses on seniors that are living below poverty level, right? Forgotten Harvest, which is dedicated to relieving hunger in Southeast Michigan. It rescues food from stores and repurposes it. Defender Mobility, which is an organization with a mission to change the future of United States disabled veterans by offering them all-terrain wheelchairs. The other one is Beaumont Children's Hospital and the Children's Miracle Network, CMN. I've been a partner of theirs for many years, and I'm very proud of the work they do at Beaumont Children's Hospital, overseeing the 200,000 children that Beaumont Children's Hospital sees in any given year. So you've got seniors we're trying to help. You've got the hungry that we're trying to help. You have the veterans we're trying to help. And you have the children that we're trying to help. But in case we've missed any, and we certainly have, we're allowing them to choose the charity of their choice, right? We are so excited to be able to offer our successes to those in our community and lift everyone up. So I want to give a big shout out to those 4 charities I mentioned, and we've already brought in over $5 million in aggregate from our clients and new clients alike. And, that can be tens of thousands of dollars that we're going to hopefully be announcing in January that we're giving away to our community. And we're really excited for that opportunity.
Well, we look forward to that. Obviously, a lot that is going to come here in the next few months as we get the heck out of 2020 and we transition to 2021. Hopefully next year ends up being a heck of a lot better than this year, although I don't know how it could be any worse. Again, we'll make sure that we're monitoring everything. We have a lot to uncover here as we head into the holiday season. Dewey, I know you and your team are going to be busy preparing, trying to make sure that you're doing your level best for your clients here moving forward, coming up with that plan based on what is transpiring in the world. So, again, we'll continue to do this every single week on the What Do We Do podcast, and look forward to hopefully more good news coming out like we got on Monday morning from Pfizer.
Fantastic. And for all the listeners out there in some of our upcoming podcasts before year-end, we're going to talk about year-end tax strategies. We're also going to dive more into the opportunities that we see heading into 2021. So, again, use the rest of this week, the next 4 days, to just kind of open your eyes and get ready to make your investment allocations in the next 4 weeks to set yourself up for the next 4 years, right? And with that, we're just getting started.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.